I'm just quickly going through the API 653 above ground storage tank inspector and give you some useful information and also how you work through API ICP individual certification program website. So I'm pulling up the API ICP website and I go through the important information here for API 653 above ground storage pipe tank inspector. The very first thing you see here is that if you go to API ICP, the homepage, or you type in, say, individual API ICP, this comes up. So if you hit on this, the certification program comes up, and then if you go to certification, and there is a drop-down window here, you select 653, and the above ground storage tank inspector page comes up. And there are very useful information about the exam, the qualification, the recertification, and here you can see the schedules and fees, and then how to apply. There is an exam scoring, how is it being done, there's some frequently asked questions, find the inspector, etc. The very first thing you see here is the remote proctoring. You can do it in person, the exam, or to remote proctoring. So you click on this, you'll see what is how is it done. So first you need to apply, obviously, but before that I want to go quickly through this and let you know. Look at it's a national program. It's ANSI certified. So ANSI stands for American National Standards Institute. So it has got ANSI accreditation. It is also been ISO 17024 certified for the past year. And they expect you as a API 63 above ground storage tank inspector to have a broad knowledge on the storage tank and satisfy the qualification requirement of API standard 653 for tank inspection, repair, alteration, and reconstruction. So the most important document to study is API 653. There is a publication effectivity sheet for November 2021 to July 2022. So this obviously expired. And there is another publication effectivity sheet is from November 2022 till July 2023. Okay. So if you're attending your exam, from now on you have to use this one. And this publication effectivity sheet is sort of revised on an annual basis. Some new documents comes in, and anything that is new or the revision has been changed, there is a red line here. As you can see here, ASME section 5, you have to use the 2021 edition. It's been red line, not the previous one. So let's see what you got to study here. 571 damage mechanism, terms and definitions, and then you have to study this dozen of these damage mechanism you should know about very briefly, where it happens, which material it affects, what's the inspection methods to detect it, and what is the prevention, etc. What is the related mechanism? On 575, I would suggest that you study 575 first, because this is an inspection practice. This is what an inspector, storage tank inspector would frequent or use more than actually 653, because it tells you how the inspection is done. There are checklists, a lot of useful information here, and it should be read in conjunction with the 653. So 653 is a standard that tells you the do's and don'ts, the rules, but 575 tells you about how to do it, and there's lots of tables and calculation sheets and checklists there. 576, inspection of pressure relieving devices. Should be also very basic knowledge you should have. What is a safety valve, what is a relief valve, and what type of valves are there. There are 4 or 5 types of valves they should know about. Check valve, globe valve, gate valve, ball valves, and butterfly valves. 577, welding inspection and metallurgy. So you should know the basics of welding inspection before, during, and after welding. And it covers 8 popular welding processes like shielded metallic arc welding, gas tungsten arc welding, gas metal arc welding, submerged arc welding. And 650 is the construction code for the vessel. So most of the 653 is based on 650. And then you have 651, cathodic protection. Basics of what is the cathodic protection, and then 652, lining, where there is fluid in the tank when is might damage the actual shell material or tank material, so they do lining and prolonging the life. And what type of tank lining are there? Normally 2 groups, thick lining and thin lining, and the benchmark is 20 tau for thickness, based on thickness. On 653, this is the all important one, document about tank inspection, repair, alteration, and reconstruction. This is a 150-page document, and around 75 to 80 questions alone comes from this out of 170 questions. So you should read it doubly. And the last 2 are, as with section 5, non-destructive examination. You only need to read the article 1, 2, 6, 7, and 23, which are general requirements: radiography, PT, penetrant test, magnetic particle test, and UT normal probe or 0-degree probe. And this is just a couple of pages only on UT 23. On ASME section 9, we should know the overall of what a WPS is, PQR, supporting, essential, non-essential parameters, P group for base metal, F group for filler metal, and Weller procedure qualification or performance qualification. You should know the very basics. So this is what actually is the reference study material that API tells you need to study. Now, if you come to body of knowledge, again, we are going to choose this one because this one is expired November till July 2022. So we have to use this one. So here it tells you also gives you the list of the documents without revision here, and tells you, for example, on 576, you only need to do section 432 and 66 only from pressure relieving devices 576, and the rest of the documents. And then they ask you what you are expected to know. For example, anything that is referred to, say 575 section 7172, these are definitely the question coming from here. There's no doubt about it. So you should know about corrosion rate and inspection intervals, and use these formulas, very simple formulas. You have to do calculations. Then joint efficiencies, 653 section 4, table 4.2, definitely question coming from here about the joint efficiency. They will ask you about the material and tell you what's the joint efficiency that you need to find through the tables and figures. And a maximum tillet, maximum field height, hydrostatic testing. These formulas definitely they are going to be in the exam. So these are again also in section 4 of 653. If you want to calculate, one is for calculating allowable thickness, in localized form, and one is for the whole height, field height of the entire ship. So they will ask you which way you want to calculate the minimum thickness. And then bell sizes for shells, so these are, and roof opening, these are all anything calculation or tables. It comes from API 650, tank construction code, and hot tapping, which means you're actually drilling an opening while the tank is already in operation, so there is fluid in it. This is a small part, and they ask you to calculate the minimum spacing between the existing nozzle and new hot tap nozzle, which is on section 9 now, 653. And settlement evaluation, definitely there are questions coming from here, and this comes from Annex B23, and is what is the allowable settlement of the tank, and number of settlement points, definitely question coming again, same Annex 653 Annex B. And impact testing is because it's a design thing, it comes from construction code, so 650 number of impact test specimen, and you need to find out what is the like the material group, and look at the graphs and see that the figure the graphs, and see that it's if whether the impact testing is required for that particular material group, and what is the acceptable value, which are all in these figures and tables. And then the minimum thickness you need to find again from there, and the joint efficiency, and you need to determine the liquid height. We will cover this during our e-learning courses. And if there is a reconstructed tank shell, then what's the minimum thickness? Again, is 650. And the corroded area, how you calculate whether it is safe or not, the T2, T1 minimum, and the critical length of corroded area, etc. Again, it's all from section 4 of 653. And the pitting as well, same section. And bottom plate minimum thickness that you need to find out, again, it's in section 4. And replacement plates, if you want to do from you follow the 653 and the figure 9, and lap welded joints, and these are not actually so anything design and flange calculation, nozzle load calculation, etc., but they are not expected. You're not expected to know, so these are excluded, just to let you know that absolutely sure that what is included and what is not. Then welding, so goes to ASME section 9, and you should know about the WPS, PQR, WPQ, the qualification range, and the PQR range, and the WPS range. And there would be a very simple WPS, and only shielded metal arc welding or gas metal arc welding process will be asked, and there would be only one process. So you should know that, for example, the PQR will be supporting PQR. These can be actually practically or potential exam question. The PQR is used to demonstrate to WPS. We will explain all this, and these are all excluded, and they're just telling you, so you don't need to study that. These similar base metals, if there is no supplementary essential variables required, then you're checking the WPS. So it's a very simple WPS. And then about the cathodic protection and lining, sorry, about 650 construction code, what you are expected to know about the inspection requirements, maximum allowable reinforcement. So most of even 650 construction code, you need to focus on the inspection side of it, again, not the design side. Non-destructive examination, article 1, 2, as we said, and this includes the scope, calibration, record keeping, the procedure, etc. As you can see, all these articles. And you should have some practical knowledge about organization, certification requirement, types and definition of inspection, non-destructive examination methods, etc. And these annexes that you need to look at as well. And about the practical knowledge, There are some specific question might come, and it's mostly about again 571, about the damage mechanism, and 575 types of tanks covered, what is excluded, what is not excluded, because it's a basic examination. They're testing on basic level, so you should know the terms and definition, exclusion, inclusions, scopes, etc. Inspection of pressure relieving devices, again they have told all these, so you get an idea where actually you need to focus on. So this publication body of knowledge is a very important thing to give you to focus your studies. Now go to qualification. Here you have if you are a bachelor degree, an engineer with 1 year experience on supervision of inspection activities for tanks, you're qualified. If you have a 2-year degree, university degree, then you should have 2 years, out of which 1 year should be in inspection of the tank, and so forth. And for high school is 3 years, out of which 1 year should be inspection of. Recertification, so every 3 years you need to apply for recertification, pay $730, and they have a grace period also after the expiry of that, up to 90 days. So you can do 90 days before your certificate is expired, and up to 90 days after your certificate is expired, subject to late application fee of $150. If even after 90 days of expiry of certificate you don't reapply, then they would cancel your certificate, and you should apply all over again and do the initial exam, pay $940. And every 6 years you have to do a test, just to show that you are also aware of the latest developments, so latest revision. This test is there are some 25 questions. You can do it up to 4 hours, and you can pose it up to 3 times, and you can even if you fail, you can do it second time, but after second time your certificate will be cancelled. And there is a new requirement that you should have some continuing professional development hours in the 3-year recertification requirements. So at least you should have 8, 16 or 24 hours. By 2025 you should have a 24 hours continuing professional development in each 3-year cycle. This course that we are providing, the e-learning, so it has got 60 CPD credit hours, so it's more than satisfies the API requirement, and our certificate of achievement you can supply when you're recertifying. So this e-learning course is not only good for candidates who wants to become an authorized storage tank inspector, but also for people who are already authorized inspector and you want to recertify. So by reading this, you can get the up-to-date, plus you can be satisfy the API requirements for recertification by the certificate achievement we shall be awarding you. Let's see at so here you can apply. So that means you can select the one that's group that you want, and then you carry on. I'm not going further into this because it should take me to my account then. So once you want to apply, you click on this. It takes you to register yourself, create a free account, and then you choose the exam, and you also choose the exam window. So this is very important, the 3 weeks window that you have to choose. You're stuck with that, so be careful which window you're choosing, because once you choose that window, you can't reschedule it, but it is as good as failing. You have to pay $300 and reschedule and do like 6 months later. So you have to be very careful the window you're selecting. You cannot attend the exam anytime you like after you. So you provide your references, two references, they will contact them. It's always better to sit with your references when they are replying to API to verify your experience. And so once API has your you paid the money, the response from references, they will send you an email authorization and a link to Prometric, who is being subcontracted by API to do the exam. And then you go and select whether if you want the Prometric center closest to yourself, you'll select it. Always suggest that as soon as you receive your email authorization, select the slot. So because Prometric works on a first come first serve basis, and they might not have the and a slot for you at your favorite test center, the one closest to you. Prometric is subcontracted by API to do this computer-based exam, and they have offices in test centers in over 160 countries and over 33,000 test centers. And they work on first come first serve basis. So the minute you receive your email authorization, do it. And if you can't find near to your favorite test center in the slot, or if it is even in another country, that's no excuse for that you can give and reschedule it for free. So that means you're going to be at least lose $300 and be late for examination for almost 6 months. Let's go, what are the schedule and fees? So if you click on the schedule and fees, and then 2022, there is probably one exam still left from November 4th to day 5 to 2022, and the deadline was is September 2, 2022, which is already passed. So if you go to 2023, you can see that for 653 you have March 10 to March 31st with the application deadline on January 6th. So you have to apply and get your approval before this date. And the other one is July 14 to August 4, 2023. And then the last one is for 2023 is November 3 to 24, 2023. The fees are $940 if you are a non-API member. For API member is $730. Now, API does not give individual membership, so your company that you're working for should be an API member. Otherwise, you pay $940. For recertification, you pay $730. And for rescheduling, if you want to reschedule your window, or you failed, or you didn't show up for any reason, or you couldn't find a slot for any reason, you want to reschedule, so you pay again $300. And if you recertification, you pay for a late fee of $150. So I think that sums it up. If you want to know more, you can study our first and second module for free. And in API, you can go to API 653 Training Inspector. Study our first and second module for free, and you can also do the free quiz here. And so you can read our basic facts, exam tips, benchmark quiz, and body of knowledge on the scoring area. We have explained in detail for free, and this also includes all the NDT parts, as you can see, the welding engineering, and it comes to welding processes, welding inspection, and complete with cue cards, quizzes, a very extensive damage mechanism module assigned to this, because many people have difficulty with lots of flashcards and practice questions. Tank construction course 650, inspection practice 575, and the all-important 653 tank inspection standards is explained in details, and catalytic protection lining and PRD, pressure leveling devices, 652, 651, 576, and all the application effective sheet highlights has come here on this model, as you can see. And then there are flashcards. All the flashcards put again in one place, so that, you know, for quick referral, these are potential exam questions. And then the benchmark quiz practice question on NDT welding damage mechanisms and mock exam package, both closed and open book. In total, this course is worth 60 credit hours. This is our accreditation. It has 8 hours of video, 200 lectures, 208 lectures, 1300 questions, and 3000 flashcards. Okay, so, and it has 24/7 course access and online support. You can always contact us, and if you have any question regarding whether it is technical, it's general query, or any access or IT problem, you can always ask us during the course. And thank you very much for listening, and we hope to see you soon.